Borussia Dortmund are one of the biggest and most loved clubs in Europe, and they came so close to winning the Bundesliga last year, just missing out to Bayern Munich again. But we're not focusing on them, we're focusing on their reserve team, who last season finished 13th in the 3rd division of German football. So today I am becoming the new manager of Borussia Dortmund 2, and by the end of this video, not only will they be better than Borussia Dortmund, they will be the best team in the world. So this is the starting 11 I've loaded into, and there's a lot of potential in this team. For starters, because it's the youth squad, our team's average age is ridiculously low. And on top of that, we've only got one player currently on loan to us, which is always a good bloody sign. But they don't have good squad depth at all, which could pose a problem in a couple of seasons' time. But all in all, this team has got a serious amount of potential, especially with players like Marco Palisic, Ole Pollmann, and of course Jaden Braff, who for some reason is on loan to Hellas Verona. He's coming straight back into the team. But the bad thing is our budget's pretty shocking, 3 million to spend in season 1. So now it's just a question of where to put that money. Now, if we're actually sticking with this formation, we need a CDM, because Pafan is actually a centre-back playing as a CDM. But there is one other player I do want to bring into this team on a permanent deal. Justin Najimba is only 21 years old and he's already 66 overall. If we can bring him into the starting 11, he could potentially be an endgame player for us. So we've got 3.2 million to spend and his market value is 1.9 million. So I'm thinking we could get a pretty cheap deal with this. I'm going to go dead cheeky and only offer 1.2 million. They want Cyril Akono and 1.2 million. No, that ain't flying with me. Okay, let's take away that player. Let's offer them maybe 1.5. Let's see if they go for that instead. 16% silent clause, sound as a pound with me. And the best part about Najimba, he can play up top and on the wing, which in the couple of seasons down may come in very handy. And we still got 2 million to spend after that transfer, and we still do need a CDM. And after searching for ages, I have finally found the player I want. Marius Wall, who's only 18 years old and already 63 overall. This guy could be an absolute beast for us in the future. And for 1 million euros on the dot, we have officially signed him on a 5-year deal. But we aren't ending our transfer window there, as I'm sending Samuel Bamber on loan for 2 years to Koyonspor, my mate Dennis to Wolfsberger for 2 years on loan, and finally Moses Ottawali for 2 years on loan as well. And one thing I noticed about Dortmund 2 was a complete overload of wingers and a lack of fullbacks. So Bueno is being converted to a left winger back, and he's going to be a 63 rated wing back. I never get excited for this stuff anymore because of this reason. But with that, our transfer window's done, and this is the starting 11 that's going to go into season 1. Now, I'll be real, I'm not expecting anything this season. The only thing I want from this Dortmund 2 side is improvement from the players. I want to steadily develop the talent that we've already got in this team, so when the time comes that we actually want to get promotion, we can pull the trigger and run through German football like a hot knife through butter. But in real life, last season they finished 13th in the league, so if we could finish higher than that in our first season in charge of these boys, I'd definitely consider that a W. Well, we've just arrived in June, and to be fair, we can't complain. 13th in the league at the end of the season, exactly what they did in real life last year. But like I said, this isn't what I was focusing on. I want to see how much we've improved. And my god, this team has improved this year. 470 rated players now in the starting 11. And whilst nobody broke the goal scoring record this year, everybody got in on the action. Look at the amount of players that got a couple of goals this year. The only thing I wanted from season 1 was growth, and let's be real, that's exactly what this Borussia Dortmund 2 team's done. Now we just need to make the right transfers for season 2, improve the team a little bit more, and we might even be within a shout for promotion. But before we go any further, did you know I'm on the road to 40,000 subscribers before the end of FIFA 23? So if you can help me out by leaving a like on this video and hitting that subscribe button, that would be amazing. So we're now into season 2 of Borussia Dortmund 2, and looking at the squad, it's pretty obvious where we need to improve it. Pudel is the weakest link in the team, only 65 overall, and he's in one of the most important parts of the squad, so we definitely need to improve this position. Honest to God, other than that, I'm very content on leaving the squad as it is. And the budget remains the exact same, 3 million to spend, and I think we blow that on one really good centre-back. And boys, believe me, I have found the centre-back I want. Andy Hotte, who currently plays for Freiburg 2. He's 68 overall at 20 years old. He will fit right into our squad. And we were just able to afford him, as we spent 2.9 million to bring him to Dortmund 2 on a 5-year deal. And when I say we just managed to sign him, I mean it. We've got 19 euros left in our budget, so that's our transfer window done. Which means this is the Borussia Dortmund 2 team going into season 2. Now call me crazy, I think this team pushes for promotion this year. With them all still being young and got pretty decent potential, they'll just grow throughout the entire season, and that leads me to believe that we'll push for promotion. But I wouldn't be fussed in the slightest if that didn't happen. I just want this team to improve once again. Next year is the year I want to push for promotion. Well, we've arrived at yet another season with Dortmund 2, and we weren't far off. We were 7th in the league at the end of this campaign, only 6 points off 3rd place. This is great news because this is 6 places higher than last season's finish, which means the squad is definitely improving. Just look at this team, man. A couple of really good signings next year, and I definitely think we get automatic promotion. And Justin the Gym has finally found his shooting boots this year with 14 goals and 3 assists in 39 games. This team's simply improving every single year, and I think Season 3 is finally the time we pull the trigger on going for promotion. We're now into Season 3 with Borussia Dortmund 2, and looking at the team, there's only 2 areas I really want to focus on. I think we need a better centre-back than Suvri. He's only 67 overall, plus if we get a better centre-back to team up with Hottie, I think that will definitely benefit the squad long term. And on top of that, we need a better goalkeeper than this guy. He is 69 overall, granted, but it's alright having a good defence. If you got a weak keeper in goal, it's not going to make a difference. And the board has been generous with our budget, giving us 4 million to spend in Season 3. God, we can buy bloody anybody with that money. And starting with the goalkeeper, I found Marcel Schuhan. He's 31 years old, granted, but he's 74 overall. He won't be a massive improvement between the sticks. But because he only had 12 months left on his contract, we only had to spend 1.8 million euros to bring him to Dortmund 2. But after that signing, renewing everybody's contracts, we've only got 1 million euros left in our budget, but I do have a little solution. I'm looking on the free agents list to see if I can find a defender. And believe it or not, I've actually come lucky in finding Dominic Heinz. He's 30 years old, 72 overall. This might just be the signing that gets us promotion this year. And that does conclude our transfer window, leaving the team looking like this going into Season 3. And I'll be real, I don't see a scenario where this team doesn't get promoted. It is way too good for the 3rd division of German football. In our first season we finished 13th, last season we finished 7th, this season we've got to go for automatic promotion. Well boys, we've just arrived in June and we've done it. We're 2nd in the league at the end of Season 3 and we are finally promoted to the 2nd division of German football. Now I've purposely not shown you what we've been doing in the cups because we've literally got no further than round 1 for 3 seasons running now. This is just a joke. And we've done a bloody good job with this team. I can't believe this team is going to be in only the 2nd division of German football. And this year a lot of people found their shooting boots. Jaden Braff with 10 and 7, 14 and 3 for Justin the Gym, and 18 and 10 for Palisic. In 3 seasons we've taken this Dortmund side from the bottom half of the 3rd division of German football to getting promoted. That's actually pretty good going. And whilst we've done that, we have improved the team massive amounts, so I think we'll be in the Bundesliga in no time. So we're now into Season 4 with Borussia Dortmund 2 in our first season in the 2nd division of German football. And I think if we play our cards right, we get back-to-back promotions. And looking at the team, there's only 3 areas we actually do need to focus on. We need a better CDM than Ozcan and a couple of better fullbacks than Semic and Bueno. Ozcan's just by a mile the weakest link in the team, so that one just makes sense. And in regards to Bueno and Semic, I've given them both enough time to improve like the rest of the team, as in they've just fallen behind and we can't afford that now with us being in a tougher division. But the good news is the board have been generous and given us 6 million to spend in Season 4. But there is some good news and there is some bad news. These 4 players here have all submitted a transfer request, meaning there's nothing I can do. We've got to sell them this year. But the good news is their market values are pretty decent, so we'll at least have 10 million to spend after we sold all these players. And after managing to sell all 4 of those players, we have now got 12 million to spend, which is much better than 6 million. And with that money, we can definitely afford to bring a CDM and a couple of fullbacks to this squad as well. And starting with the CDM, I'm going for Yannick Engelhardt from Werder Bremen. He's only 24 years old and 73 overall. He will be a massive improvement to our midfield. And as luck would have it, he only had 12 months left on his contract, so we only had to spend a measly 3 million euros to bring him to Dortmund 2. And for that left back position, I'm going for Kallen Hoglu from Fortuna Dusseldorf. He's 22 years old, 73 overall. He will be a massive improvement over Bueno. And I think we got a bargain with this guy, as we've only had to spend 4.5 million on him. And after those signings renewing everybody's contracts, we've only got 87k left in our budget, so that's our transfer window done. Which means this is the starting 11 that's going to head into Season 4. This does mean Semic is staying for 1 more season, but he's already improved by 1 overall, so hopefully that's a sign of things to come. But in terms of what I want this year, I think this team would survive quite comfortably in the Bundesliga, so I definitely think we should be going for automatic promotion once again. Well, we just arrived at the end of yet another season, and I'm gutted, man. We are 5th in the league at the end of this campaign. We were 13 points off Schalke, don't get me wrong, but still, I would have loved to get promoted this year. And we actually made it to round 2 of the DFB Pokal this time, so there is a little bit of improvement there. Just look at this team, man. A couple of really good signings next year, and I definitely think we creep up from where we are right now to the top of the league. And this time, our top goal scorer is Rodney Alongo Yombo with 7 17 goals and 11 assists in 36 games. Whilst I'm gutted we didn't get promoted this year, we have to remember we are a newly promoted team. The fact we got 5th in the league is absolutely insane. But next year, make no mistake, we are definitely gunning for promotion. We're now into Season 2 with Dortmund 2, and there's only 2 areas of this team I really want to focus on budget depending. The first thing I really want to do is bring in a better centre-back than Heinz. He is the weakest link in the team, and he's also retiring, so it just makes sense. And I think we need a better goalkeeper than Schuhen. He's 76 overall, granted, but if we want to get to the Bundesliga, we need a better keeper in between the sticks. And this time, we have got a better budget, 13 million to spend in Season 5. Whether that's enough to get us both a centre-back and a goalkeeper, though, I'm really not certain yet. And for the goalkeeper, I'm going for a veteran of the game, Peter Gulácsi. He's 85 overall, but he's 36 years old, and his last couple of years of football, he's going to help us get back into the Bundesliga. And for 1.8 million, we have secured Peter Gulácsi on a 2-year deal. And for that centre-back role, I'm going for Manchester City youngster Callum Doyle, who's 75 overall at only 22 years old. He will be a massive improvement for that defensive lineup. And we are ending our transfer window by bringing Callum Doyle to Borussia Dortmund 2 for €8 million on the dot, which leaves the team looking like they're heading into Season 5. And as for what I want this year, it's fairly simple. I want promotion, whether that be by the playoffs or automatically. This team could comfortably survive the Bundesliga, so there's no reason why we can't make the jump and get promotion to it this season. Well, boys, we've just arrived in June and we've done it. We have finished first in the league in Bundesliga 2 by 9 points, and we are promoted to the Bundesliga as champions. Just look at the team as well, man. A couple of really good signings next year, budget depending, and we could potentially push for a top 10 finish. And Justin Najimba knew where that goal was this year. 23 and 6 for him, 18 and 6 for Marco Palisic, 11 and 5 for Alongo Yombo, and 10 and 9 for Jaden Braff. We've been with Dortmund for 5 seasons, and we finally got them from the 3rd division of German football to the Bundesliga, man. I am buzzing. But having seen the team, it's not a case of if we're going to survive, it's how much we're going to thrive in the Bundesliga. We're now entering our 6th season in charge of Borussia Dortmund 2, and we are finally in the Bundesliga with our bigger brother Borussia Dortmund. Now it's just a matter of catching up with Dortmund and then becoming the best team in the world. And let's be honest, looking at this squad, there's only a couple of areas we actually do need to improve. Believe it or not, I'm leaving Gulácsi alone. It's the least I can do considering he helped us get to the Bundesliga. But I'm going to fix the weakest links in our team, so I'm bringing a centre-back in for Hottie and a CDM in for Whirl. Other than that, I'm happy to leave the team as it is. I'm just hoping that we've got the budget to pull this off. And to be fair to the Bud, they've given us a lot of money, 42 million to spend in our first season in the Bundesliga. I think that's more than enough to bring in a better centre-back and a CDM. And starting with the CDM, I'm going for youngster Roman Chandler from Arsenal. He's only 19 years old, but he's 77 overall. We could turn this guy into a monster. And I think we just got a bargain, as we only had to spend 12.5 million to bring him to Borussia Dortmund 2. And as for the centre-back, the player I'm spending the most amount of money on, Santiago Bueno. He's 81 overall, 28 years old. I think this guy will be the difference maker this season. And he is our most expensive signing yet, as we've just spent 24.5 million to bring him to Dortmund 2. Now this is interesting. Man City want Palisic for 57.2 million. Now for me, I don't want to get rid of this guy anytime soon, but if the budget doesn't work with what we want to do, we may have to consider doing this in the future. But that is the end of our transfer window, and now the team looks like they're heading into our first season in the Bundesliga. And aside from the fact that Gulácsi will probably go down to 75, 76 overall, I'm so excited to see what we can do this year. Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting a European finish or to hang with the big boys this year. I just don't think we're going to be anywhere near the relegation zone. Well, we've reached the end of our first season in the Bundesliga, and we're 9th in the league, man. That is absolutely insane for a newly promoted team. And we were only 8 points off a European spot. Next year, this team is definitely in contention for top 6. And just look at the team, man. It's improved massively. Granted, Gulácsi's probably let us down massively this year, but we can certainly sort that out in Season 7. And the stats this year are actually pretty good. Najima with 18 and 3, 12 and 5 for Marco Palisic, and 10 and 7 for Rodney Alongo Yombo. It's a promising start to life in the Bundesliga, 9th in the league for a newly promoted side. That's practically unheard of. And I think with a couple of very good signings next year, budget dependent, we're definitely in contention for a top 6 position. We're now into our 7th season in charge of Dortmund 2, and looking at the team, there's one area of that pitch that really needs improving. It's obviously our goalkeeper Galashi, he's already gone down by 1 overall and he's retiring at the end of the season. He helped us get into the Bundesliga, but now it's time to get a better keeper. And honest to God, apart from that, I'm happy to keep the team as it is for this year. And to be fair, our budget isn't bad at all, 40 million to spend in Season 7. And believe me, I have found the perfect replacement for Galashi, Luis Maximiano, who's 29 years old, 84 overall. He'll be with us for at least 4 or 5 seasons. But Villa really weren't letting him go easily, as we've just had to fork out 35 million on the dot for him. And after that signing and sorting everybody's contracts out, we've only got 135k left in the budget, which means that is the end of our transfer window, and this is the Dortmund 2 team going into Season 7. And obviously we do need a CDM and a new left back, but for now I think we can survive with these players. But looking at this team, I don't see any reason why we can't get European football next year. Well, we've yet again arrived in June, and you ain't gonna believe this, we're 3rd in the league at the end of this season. We are finally in Europe after 7 long seasons. And whilst Borussia Dortmund did actually win the league, we finished above Bayern Munich, for God's sake, by 7 points. That in its own right is a bloody good achievement. And we got knocked out in round 2 of the DFB Pokal by friggin' Nürnberg of all teams. We're just not meant to do well in this competition. Look at this team, man. There's only a couple of areas we need to sort out next year, and this team is doing well in Europe. But considering we finished 3rd in the league, these stats aren't that impressive. 14-8 for Palisic, 13-6 for Alongo Yombo, and 10-14 for Justin Najimar. But to be honest, I couldn't care less about the stats. We're 3rd in the league and we got European football for next year. I am absolutely buzzing with that. And like I've already said, there's only a couple of areas we need to work on, and we may potentially have a very successful run in Europe. We're now heading into our 8th season in charge of Dortmund 2, and looking at the team, there's only 3 positions I want to focus my attention on. We need to bring in a better CDM and 2 new fullbacks. Kalhongalu and also Semic have been amazing service from us from start to right now, but if we want to be doing well in Europe, we need better fullbacks. And the same goes for Engelhardt. If we leave him in the team, I think he'll get crucified in Europe. And we may actually be able to bring in the quality I want. 112 million to spend this year. The board have seen what we can do, and they finally got faith in us to pull it off. And we are going to start with the left back, and I'm going for Luca Netz from Freiburg. He's only 26 years old and already 83 overall. And we got him way cheaper than I thought we would, as we've only had to spend 38 million to bring him to Dortmund 2. And for our midfielder role, I'm stealing a player from our big brother Dortmund, Lovro Majir, who's 31 years old and 84 overall. And for only 33.1 million, we have secured him on a 3-year deal. And finally, for that right back position, I'm going for Crystal Palace's Alexandra Bar, who's 31 years old and 83 overall. And because he only had 12 months left on his contract, we only had to spend 24.5 million on him. And with those signings now complete, our transfer window's done, and this is the starting 11 that's going to go into Season 8. And looking at the team now in comparison to what we started this season with, I think there's a small chance we can get to the final this year. Every single player in this team is capable of improving as the season progresses, so you never know what we can achieve this year. And of course, we are in the Champions League for the very first time. We're in Group C alongside the Bottle Jobs, Olympic Lyon and Galatasaray. Now, in an ideal world, we'd top the group, the Bottle Jobs have finished bottom, and everybody would go home happy, but I don't think that's how it's going to go, so we're going to have to wait until January to see how this pans out. So we've just arrived in January, and just look at the table, man. That is the tightest title race I've ever seen halfway through the season. But the best part is we're above Borussia Dortmund. If we can end this season finishing above Dortmund, that would be amazing. And boys, we finished 2nd in Group C. We're going to the round of 16, and on top of that, the Bottle Jobs are in the Europa League, where they freaking belong. And so far, it's a one-man show. 10 goals and 7 assists for Justin Njima. And frankly, I did everything I wanted to do in the first transfer window, so this is the starting 11 that's going to go into the knockouts. But if I could improve the team any further, I'd definitely get 2 better centre-backs than Doyle and Bueno. I feel like they'll let us down in the knockouts. But having said that, our team as a whole is absolutely insane, and also on top of that, it just depends on who we get drawn against first. And we couldn't have asked for a nicer team to come up against. Benfica in the round of 16. Now, I'm not saying they're a bad team, because they are a good team. It's just I prefer to come against these guys than PSG. But we are going to get into this game. We're at home in the first leg. 2-1 it ends in the first leg. Palisic and Bar, it's a 2-1 advantage going into the second leg. I'm pretty confident we can get to the quarterfinals. We're 2-1 up already on aggregate. Let's just finish the job here. Perfect. 3-1 up on aggregate it is, and we are cruising to the quarters, where I think our journey in the Champions League is coming to an end. We've got Liverpool in the quarterfinals. Now, I've got faith in the boys. I think we've got a really good team, but Liverpool are no joke. We're going to get into this game. We are at home, so... okay. It looks like we're getting to the quarters, and that's that. It's not impossible to turn this around. It's just very, very bloody unlikely, especially against a team like Liverpool. Let's get into this game, and let's just hope for the best. We are out of the Champions League. A 3-0 hammering on aggregate. Edwards in both games just taught us how to score, basically. In all honesty, I'm not surprised. Like I said, I would have loved to improve our defence. We just didn't have the funds to this season. But hopefully by the end of this campaign, not only will we have finished higher than Dortmund, we'll have won the league. Boys, we've just arrived at the end of the season, and you ain't going to believe this. We've actually won the Bundesliga. We've beaten Bayer Leverkusen to that top spot as well. Have that, Bayer Leverkusen. And we've also battered them to win the DFB Pokal once again. Have that, Bayer Leverkusen. I'm absolutely buzzing with this squad, man. We just need to strengthen it a little bit more next year, and we are going all the way in the Champions League. And the stats this year are the best they've ever been. 24-8 for Justin Najim, 16-7 for Alongo Yombo, 14-7 for Palicic, 13-5 for Lovre Major, and 8-17 for Jaden Braff. We won the double with Borussia Dortmund too, man. How mad is that sentence to hear? But that does mean there's one trophy we've yet to win, and that's the Champions League, and you better believe we're gunning for that in Season 9. So we're now ending into our 9th season in charge of Borussia Dortmund 2, and I know exactly where I want to improve this squad. So first, I want 2 better centre-backs than Doyle and Bueno. I think if we do that, we'll have a real good shot in the Champions League. But that's not all I want to do, because I want to focus on this subs bench. Hold on, since when was Semic 85 rated? He's going straight into that starting 11 again. But getting us back on track, looking at that subs bench, we need a striker, a cam, a winger, and a better goalkeeper. This way, we've got squad depth for every single position. And when you win the double, you get big money to spend. 169 million. Is it bad that I'm 27 and I really want to laugh that it's 169 million? But for our first centre-back signing, I'm going for Edmund Tapsoba from Bayer Leverkusen themselves. 85 overall at 31 years old. We beat them to the league and the League Cup last year, so he's coming over to the winning team. And for 42 million on the dot, we have signed Tapsoba for 3 years. And the other centre-back I'm partnering up with Tapsoba is Pierre Kalulu. He's 86 overall at 30 years old. These pair are going to be a nightmare to get past. But Fenerbahce really didn't want to let him go, as we had to spend 60 million to get him to join Borussia Dortmund 2. And with us sorting our defence out, now it's time to get players for squad depth. And starting with the striker, I brought in Fode Fofana for 10 million. For our backup winger, I went for Alexander Alvarado, who cost us 20.5 million. For our backup cam, I went for Kasper Urbanski for 20.5 million. And finally, for our backup goalkeeper, I brought in Kepa on a free. And with that, our transfer window is officially over, and this is the starting 11 that's going to go into Season 9. The starting 11 looks good, the subs bench looks good. If we won the league and the DFB Pokal last year, there's no reason why we can't do that again. But we do have an early opportunity of silverware against Bayer Leverkusen in the Super Cup. Please, for God's sake, beat these guys. We beat them to everything last year. Ugh, I hate Bayer Leverkusen so much. But moving on from the Super Cup, we are, of course, in the Champions League again. We're in Group A alongside Porto, Napoli, and Dynamo Kiev. Now, last year we finished second. This year, I want to make a statement and top the group. Well, boys, we've just arrived halfway through the season, and we are top of the league, beating our bigger brothers by 1 point to that top spot. We're having a really good season. And just like I wanted to, we topped Group A, and we're cruising to the round of 16. And these stats are pretty impressive. 14-3 for Justin Najim and 10-6 for Marco Palicic. And I did everything I wanted to do in the first transfer window, so this is the starting 11 that's going to go into the knockouts once again. And I can't explain how happy I am with how this team looks, man. It's come a long way since the beginning. But we got another opportunity to do well in the Champions League. Last year we got to the quarters before getting knocked out by Liverpool, so how are we going to do this time? And we started by destroying AZ Alkmaar in the round of 16 and just getting past Juve in the quarters, which means we are finally in the semi-final. And in that semi-final, you ain't gonna believe this. Bayer Leverkusen, they've come back to haunt me once again after beating us in the Super Cup. They're gonna try and beat us in the semi-finals. That just isn't gonna happen. Dortmund 2, do not let me down. Come on. Oh my God, boys, we are 1 game away from that frigging final. It all comes down to this, boys. We're 2-1 up on aggregate. A draw will literally get us into that final, man. But it doesn't take a draw. We've won at 1-0. We've battered them 3-1 on aggregate. Once again, for the final time hopefully in this video, have that Bayer Leverkusen. And in that final, we are facing Barcelona of all teams. This is going to be a tough game. Meanwhile, in the Bundesliga, we were so close to it, man. We were second in the league at the end of this season. I'm not sure whether it was goal difference or whether it's head-to-head in the Bundesliga. All I know is Dortmund beat us to the title this time. But we beat them to the title last year, so we guess it evens out. And the stats this year are genuinely the best they've ever been. 30-11 for Justin Najim, and 19-7 for Marco Pulisic, 17-4 for Olongo Yombo, and 11-16 for Jaden Braff. It's safe to say I'm very happy with the team that we've created so far, man. This team is so good. We've pretty much won every single trophy we can with this starting 11. There's only one that we haven't won yet, though, the Champions League. And yes, I will be playing in the final. I've not used half of these guys before, and I don't want to waste this opportunity to make them the best team in the world. Pulisic, she's got some support in the inside. Oh! There ain't no way. Oh my god, could you imagine if something like that happened in real life? That would be heartbreaking. It don't matter, I'll take it. Inacio OG, we're 1-0 up. Braff's on the ball. Can we see this? 1-2. Please make it happen. Yes, we can. Braff is all alone. He's going to take it first to... Oh, just look at that. Braff, 20 minutes in. They've scored an OG, and we get a goal of our own. Barca, you might want to score pretty soon. Otherwise, I'm definitely going to wipe the floor with you. Olongo Yombo is on the ball. Let's see what this guy can do. Oh, he's got some pace on him. He's found Lovren Majeur. This time it potential... Should I see if I can score 10 goals? Because I genuinely feel like I can score whenever I want. Oh, Ansu Fati's got a chance. And he's taking it. Okay, I am humbled. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am still going for 10 goals. I just wanted a clean sheet to go with it. Okay. Ooh, okay. Ansu Fati again. They are making a game out of this. Braff is on the ball. Okay, this is decent. Can we get the ball over to Najima? Yes, we can. That's a perfect first touch. He's going to... Oh! What a goal! We do have a little breathing room now, but I still want them 10 goals. Olongo Yombo. Oh, that's it. Oh, please. Please. Oh, come on. That was screaming for a goal. Pulisic. Over it. Come on. Do some... Oh, I'm trying to do some sick kind of goal with my striker, man. It's just not working, is it? Olongo Yombo. Najimi. Back to Olongo Yombo. Oh, that run in between the defenders was beautiful. He's not got much gas in the tank left, but he can put one away. We have made it 5-2 in the 84th minute. It is officially game over. And that indeed was game over. Dortmund 2-5, Barcelona 2. We have made Borussia Dortmund 2 not only better than Borussia Dortmund, but the best team in the world. It's taken us 9 seasons to do it, creating a monstrosity of a team, but we bloody did it in the end. And if you are still here, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed that, you should definitely click here to watch me do this with Villarreal B.